first question I had is, which I was saying that did you design your whole career? Because there are lots of questions these young people are asking. कि भाई सही कर रहा हूँ कि नहीं कर रहा हूँ, ये ऑर्गेनाइजेशन चाहिए कि नहीं, ये पर्पसफुल है कि मीनिंगफुल है. So did you design all this or this happened by chance? Maybe very frank. I was brought up in the 60s and 70s in Kerala. Because at that time was a very active, you must be going. And now it's unfashionable and probably even should be misinterpreted. I fancy myself as a Gandhian socialist. Socialism is a bad word, not only in American, even English. But I really, even now I would stick my neck out and say I believe in Gandhian socialism. So in a way, joining civil service, at that time I thought it would be to serve the poor. I'm not boasting. That was conscious. And I decided I'd spend most of my time in rural development and related subjects. If I'm allowed, you don't control your career in the civil service. One, of course, these areas are not much preferred in civil service. And I was secretary planning of Kerala for 4 years, where we do decentralization. So whenever I attend some meetings and I see my batchmates, and I say I'm the planning secretary, many of you thought, what happened to you here? Which means I got a hot knock politically and down did too. So it's a choice, but a lot of luck. In the sense, throughout my career, I had fantastic ministers. Civil servant is nobody. That you must realize. You need a good minister who allows you to work. Doesn't have to help you, but doesn't have to be an intellectual. So I worked with, earlier career doesn't matter. You could be collector or anybody, it doesn't matter. You have your own space. But when you join government, as a policy maker or advisor, you don't take policy. To advise policy, you need somebody who supports, who listens to you, and doesn't want you to execute the wrong kind of tasks. That is very, very rare. Everywhere, even in Kerala, it's not common. So Kerala is relatively less correct. So I had fortune to work with for 10 years with a person called Parali Mohammed Kuti from his place. Well, genuine old communist, absolutely simple, and know this. He wanted to do good. That's all. Then for 5 years I worked with Mr. A.K. Anton. Very outstanding kind of guy. I've never seen such a politician in life. He gave me full freedom. Vijayan, this is what I want. But I cannot deviate a bit from principle or norm for both these things. So that's the thing which I have to do. They give me freedom. Then for 2 years I was called to Government of India with Mr. Jairam Ramesh. And he gave me full freedom. And so discussing with him, talking, this kind of all this thing. Then for 2 years I worked. At that time my minister was Mr. Virendra Singh. There, of course, big advantage is I could talk to him in English. Hindi is very bad. But more importantly, it was not a priority of God. Panchayati Raj was not a priority. Zero priority or minus priority. The budget of Panchayati Raj department was cut overnight from 8,000 crores to 90 crores. 90. And 90 is the kind of money which you will realize a BDO in Central India gets. So a whole ministry with a secretary, 2 additional secretaries, 3 joint secretaries and all that. I don't know for what reason it was cut. So, don't quote me. In a sense, of course, I've written. My colleague Anil Swarup, right, he has written about it. It's some of his books. So we thought we should prove that we can work and we don't need money to work. If you're in government, that you don't realize. From Government of India has such power, which is normally misused, that you can bring good things. We had a fantastic set of officers. Top class. If I see some, they all were like Panchayat Raj. They were not dumb. Nobody chooses Panchayat Raj. So we thought we'd work as a team. And we really worked. And this GPD. So GPD was not my creation. My predecessor in government, she's a Gujarat cadre. She later became the first secretary of Swachh Bharat, Vijay Lakshmi Joshi. She had set up which is, I'm mentioning it because useful to you. Every Monday morning from 9:30 to 11, open in her room, all the officers of and above the rank of joint secretary. So there were about 6 or 7 of them. Will come, no agenda, nothing. We really discussion, gossip, coffee, everything. At the end of it, important decisions are made. That's all. No agenda, no prior discussion. And then all this evolved during those discussions. That's where GPD. So we said, what do you do? How do you do? I found that. And then the states owned up. And another advantage is a huge money. 2 lakh crores. And secretaries were scared. This money would just go down. Nobody could realize. And there'll be a scam and then does enter this money. So we had discussion with the secretary. Took them into confidence. And they all said we should do something. That's everybody said we should do. That's what we thought through, and then this came in. So in a sense, it is choice cow.
So another thing is that, India got independence in 47. Panchayati Raj, this are like 92, right? There must be reason why it happened. I want to understand from your journey, how did you establish self-government or local governance in Kerala, and why it is not going to expect? Why it is not happening in my state, Jharkhand, example, or Bihar, or some other places? What needs to be done?
It's a very long answer, but I'll quickly answer. See, in government, a policy option opens, the window doesn't remain open for a long. Anyway, somebody will get interested and say, let's do it. So it's up to the civil service to structure that, and also to prevent rollback. Things can be rolled back. And nobody will try. Even in Kerala's People's Bank, some government says we are rolling back. Now, of course, they can't. After 5 years, Mr. Anthony could have said, get lost, this is a party affair, I will not continue with it. Nobody would have. No tears or attention. So, that opportunity is there. And then we had a big team was there to translate that policy thing into practice.
Some demands question on planning, right? Generally we thought, at 60, 70, in India we had a lot of conversation around literacy. People are illiterate, make them literate. There were the Salas, literacy mission, all that.
Literacy.
Most of the education numbers were around that. And post 2000, at least it's changed. Very appreciate need to be in school. And if we go, look at the government institution at the village level, whether it is school or Anganwadi or now health wellness center, sub-center, whatever institutions are there, people employed by top has got to school. So they are educated, educated, right? And in the village, they didn't go to school, right? So they are unemployed, illiterate, right? So that is one situation. On the other side, we are talking about self-governance and panchayat and the elected body, they have power to plan what is needed for the panchayat. And there is always divide. And this has created mistrust between community and these institutions and individuals. What is your experience? How do you bring them together? What is it that needs to be done so that both respect each other and the plan which comes out as a GPDP or any other plan, a school development plan or village health plan, is much more robust and useful for the community?
I approach this from a slide not directly answering your question, which is very vague if I answer that. See, in spite of this rather difficult scenario, I find there are very good panchayats even in a state like Jharkhand.
Yeah. Anecdotal examples are there.
Not anecdote, real examples, but not developed into case studies. The Controller Auditor General of India, the present controller, he has started, it's a personal initiative, International Center for Audit of Local Governments in Rajkot. It's an inaugurated destination. So I had got there just a minute coming. Rajkot. The Rajkot Gandhiji Association of Gandhiji. And fortunately, Rajkot PG's office has a lot of buildings. So he converted that thing in CAG. He did that and everything. And this, I see a very bright future for that. We'll be focusing on accountability, but they will look at the larger local governments. So there I saw 4 presentations by Gram Panchayat presidents. One from UP, the other is from Maharashtra, and third is from some other state. It really transformed with no power. No formal power. And earlier also in NIRD I saw some 5 Gram Panchayats. So you people, using your Gandhi fellows, search out such beacons. And I saw your study really interesting. Make it out into a case study. And I would use another word for it's my advice to you, what I call school of practice.
I have seen panchayats learn better from their peers than from us. When I go and lecture for 15 hours, they will not listen. But how would this happen? You go talk to them, they will understand, they will ask questions. And then they will see that, yes, I also need to go. And you can find this is the fastest way of setting off this thing. Otherwise, nothing will identify. I'm sure now for example, to help you identify, we ask NARD, they will give you some time.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have an FOE with we and all. So they will give you some 20, 30 case studies. Please and pass it up to your aspect. And as I recall that old examples. Then the ministry over the last 10, 15 years has been giving awards.
Yeah.
Select some of them are not paper only. You send your people. And you will find remarkable panchayats in all parts of India.
Yeah.
For example, Jharkhand, I was talking to the finance commissioner, and he said, one panchayat president suddenly decided he needs to set up a library. He set up a library, but he has no money to buy books. Nothing. It's almost zero. So he charged 50 rupees per month from everybody who comes. Everybody pays. There's no rule, nothing.
Yeah.
He pays happily because they don't get books. 50 rupees, they'll get one book. So everybody is like pooling resources, and panchayat is coming, and that library is functioning remarkably. Somebody decided we'll collect 2 rupees from every tourist. They have no power under law. But then decided Gram Sabha, then people were saying some good. So if you are able to not celebrate, kind of convert them into a real school of practice. Go to the panchayat saying that shall you conduct some classes here, and you pay the actual costs.
Right.
And many people will be happy to put the trainees in their houses. You pay them 1 day fee.
Fantastic. So basically you're saying kids focus on what we have instead of focusing on have-nots.
Yeah. And then many things on having you can improve top of it all. But this is a sure way of starting early, quickly.
I hope we're getting the idea, right?
Yes.
One other question is, lots of program focuses on capacity building. Many programs that we need to train, and trainer keeps speaking for 80% of time, and then the goals are being trained. Just sometimes we will ask one question. So, what is it you need to bring capacity of panchayat, that's on or secretary? Is there something needs to be done with the video or promo based on your experience with Gila?
Chita has been basically lecturing, but very pointed kind of thing.
Yeah.
You see, this is people's plan. We always find that if you go straight, 10 panchayats do this, they don't understand. You give a concept, philosophy, what is planning? What is the importance of planning? And then say the first step in planning, and what is the logic of planning?
Right.
See, every governmental thing, governments you may not like, but there is a deep logic. Like, you will all find financial rules are very troublesome. You have to ask for a rule and explain. Now, very few people can explain why a rule is there. So, if you want to go for competitive tender, you know a very good vendor, why don't you take it? Because in democracy, there has to be fairness. There has to be quality. So, fairness, quality, opportunity, then you make it formal. And formal means you ask for a bid, give him opportunities, good quality. It's a very simple thing.
Yeah.
But now we don't tell. You say go for the lowest station. Why don't they? So, to the extent possible, we try to give these kind of things. What is SH? Is it 15 women? Or like, for example, Al Fernandez. Heard of it? He's one of the first person, First, the person who started SSGs. In India, though Pradhan also plays, there's a dual play, that they started the SSGs in 1990. So he says, very important, very powerful statement. About SSG, like how philosophy of SSG. And he says, we say, the usual thing which you must have heard after times. Chinese said that teach them how to fish and not eat fish. That kind of thing. He said, if the road to the water body is blocked, there's no point in teaching the fish. You can't access that. So you need a different. So when you present SSGs in these terms, what is an SSG? And then go into say, there have been people, they have to be this thing, they have to have much as a third. Then they understand there is something behind this. Same thing with GPC. What is planning? You say, very simple language you use. I think probably you also put it, what is simple planning? They say, okay, we are trying to fit. Who should fit? Who should decide? And you are not going to have somebody to come and design what is important in the village based on some data. So these people's perceptions and people's perceptions, whose perceptions. So these kind of things. And so that is the way to build capacity. In addition to what I said, learn from the leader. And again, also, I forgot to tell you, you can also create some leaders, not show the past. You put that is the strategy we followed in, that's something which you can follow, bit costly, not very big, which you can afford. Where we had to roll out SHGs across the country. There's hardly any, there's no capacity in most parts of it. So it started in the south. South has a governance capacity. Can't deny. All the 4 southern states are now 5 southern states. But first to learn was Bihar. How did they learn? They took persons from Andhra Pradesh, not came from Andhra Pradesh. They only came like when they went and taught them and created 1 or 2 clusters. They called resource groups. From them, they learn. Now, if you want, now your young fellows or Gandhi fellows would say this panchayat has some potential. I was told 5,000 panchayats here.
Yeah.
So don't go through all the 5,000. Maybe 50 panchayats. Somebody really feels, she feels a feeling, this person is good. Then some team can go and very casually find out if it's good. Invest. Invest means take some 5 panchayat persons there, let them talk, take them to some good panchayats. So they are all aware.
It's about the sarpanch who really was like,
Most important thing in Panchayat Raj is the sarpanch. Then after the team. And again, I would, what big problem is not this thing, is it's sarpanch oriented. It's not Panchayat Raj.
yeah.
So we will all train good sarpanches, he will run it as a dictator. So Panchayat has got a democratic element. So you should try to bring the 10 or 12 councillors to your name. Panchayats may not like it, but you, especially the result, is highest. So it's not training the sarpanch to the Panchayat committee. We miss that. Even in capacity building, you miss that. We'll go for the Panchayat stress. Then the Panchayat may perform well. But it's not just performance in development. It's larger roots.
You spoke about SHG and you kept talking about panchayat. Now we know that the role of women in democratic is extremely critical, and it is proven by the SHG revolution in India. How to bring these two together? There are examples which we know that how SHG's participation in panchayat have changed many things, but it's not happily.
No, fortunately, Kerala was the first to formally decide that the two will work together. In 96, People's Lab started, and in Kerala, the SHGs predated People's Lab. Actually, the SHGs predated that. It's a very peculiar thing. SHGs was first started in urban areas of Kerala and then rural areas. And there should be mutual right information. They will not be got where they live. The panchayat should know what the SHGs are doing. The SHGs should know what the panchayat is. That's all.
But why should I tell SHG that go name?
That is, SHGs have to, especially post 2015, or SHGs can gain more by working with panchayats. See, the Andhra model is dominated at panchayats in Andhra are hopelessly, not even doctor. I've gone to see now.
But now I'm hearing it here.
Yeah, that is due to the 15 Finance Commission, 14 Finance Commission. Till that time, RTH resource. And no powers, nothing, political issues. Undivided Andhra. So, then they said SHG model is our own model. They turned it. And they pushed it. And they didn't want this partnership. But Kerala, we wanted the partnership. Partly ideological. Democratization. So, we called SHG partnership as communitization of decentralization. The next step of decentralization. We use the word appreciation. The next step of decentralization. And came out with an order. And it is a structuring exercise. And at the end of it, you will find that both parties gain. Both parties gain. And there cannot be a loser. And contrary to popular or fears, we have not seen any tensions anywhere. Here there will be conflict with other human beings, there will be conflict, but not structural, deep-seated conflict. It is possible. There are good examples. And Kiran, at that time, in 2013, I was also at Delhi. One joint secretary, I supported it as a general manager of the minister, saying that we shouldn't take consultants around. Not naming big firms. But we can learn from each other.
Or each other might be telling about openly.
So we can learn from each other.